Sabrina's writing her last letter home,
Yes.
she sits down
That's
in
the
that
cafe.
Yes,
I love that moment.
Yeah, it's a good moment because it's basically it's the last thing you see of Paris for
That's where
about
I ate last night.
an hour. Really? This is where a scene in French Kiss has been shot. Okay, it's you may remember if you've recently seen it. It's the scene where she's been pickpocketed.
Yes.
And the pickpocket has taken about everything, all her papers and everything.
We just saw that a few weeks ago.
But her friend knows, or he thinks he knows, who stole it.
Yes.
Who stole the stuff, and then they pay him a visit, and it's about halfway down the street, halfway up the street, I should say, more or less at the level of the Afghani restaurant.
Okay.
Then they come down and they walk down the street here to this corner, where he's trying to force some money onto her.
Yes,
She
exactly.
throws it onto the ground.
And he leaves her,
then
and
he
she's
leaves her.
standing there all
And
alone.
then she
And then she
returns
goes back
after
to get
about
the
5
money.
steps
Yes.
to pick the money off the street. So that's
That's right.
you know, as long as she was in Europe, the Americans didn't mind very much. But when she was about to make a comeback in Hollywood, in the famous movie Paint Your Wagon with Clint Eastwood and Lee Marvin, she was the only one of the three whose singing voice was dubbed, so that gives you an impression how bad she must have been. Okay. Because Clint Eastwood and Lee Marvin are probably about the least.
Yeah.
There's probably a building in your city which is older than this church, although I'm not sure whether there's an older one in Portland, let's say. It was completed just before the First World War, meaning about 1912. Okay, so it's only about 100 years old. It was built after the Commune de Paris, which was a revolt in 1871. Because until then France had an emperor, who was called Napoleon III, who was a nephew of Napoleon I. And when the French lost the war against Germany, the emperor had to resign on the battlefield. Okay, so that the prefect of Paris was called Haussmann, and that's why they call this style Haussmannian. That's a very good example, really, although it was built a little later. But that's basically the style of downtown Paris. So we're standing here in front of the Maison Rosée, which was owned by a famous French painter, Suzanne Valadon, and which was used in the film Funny Face as the home of the bogus existentialist philosopher. Fred Astaire comes here in his tiny car to free Audrey Hepburn from the claws of this evil. He comes here to free Audrey Hepburn.
Statue depicting the story of the Passe-Muraille, written by Marcel Aimé, one of famous French authors that young school children here in France learn very early on.
About 50 or 60 windmills all over Montmartre, because at the time that was the only form of energy they had to grind their corn. There are only two left. They're not workable windmills anymore. One is around the corner, and this is another one. This is called the Moulin de la Galette. Here we have the Rue Saint-Vincent, which is the opening shot of Amélie.
Amélie, remember that scene where he, a flashback with the little boy who won marbles?
The marbles, yes, at the
and
school.
Then, it's inside. In the movie Amélie, there was when she was touring the blind man, and along the route you will see a horse's head, and that is the horse butcher shop.
Oh,
See, you can buy horse meat there, and now they close, and of course you can see they sell cell phones.
The shop where Amélie does her shopping. Closed at the moment, unfortunately, but still recognizable. And we can see the shop owner kept it the way it was. It was rearranged by the art directors of the movie. He liked it so much that he even kept the shop sign. But basically now the shop has two names. One Au Marché de la Butte, which is his own name, and then Maison Collignon, which looks a little bit worse for wear. I think it's time he changes it. It was made to withstand Parisian weather for a decade. It was made just for a fortnight of shooting. You can have a look at the Moulin Rouge. It's just around the corner.
Number 4 is about there.
Okay, I'll have to look at the details.
This is the corner. If you turn around the corner, that's where the building where Van Gogh used to live with his brother when he comes to Paris to visit his brother, basically. So it's his brother who lives here, really, but he used to live there for a year or so.
So this is the Bateau Lavoir, where Picasso invented cubism, as they say, and where he painted one of his most famous paintings, his first masterpiece, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. And this guy, the one with the big scarf, Aristide Bruand,
Oh, yes.
famous from the posters of
Recognize
Toulouse-Lautrec.
that, yes.
He used to own this. Talked about it earlier, the windmill. So just to give you an impression what it would have looked like. The beer garden and the windmill on a good day.
That's where it was.
Bright, sunny, spring
At the windmill on the hill.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Okay.
In a more familiar pose.